Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. The Future of Requirements Management, Enterprise AI for Regulatory Excellence. Over the next hour, we will be exploring how AI is creating a paradigm shift in the world of requirements management, and how teams working in regulated industries are leveraging the capabilities of AI to aid and improve their compliance efforts. Let's start with where traditional RM falls short, especially for high-regulated teams. Compliance pressures are mounting. Today, the ISO standards catalog is comprised of more than 25,000 standards. In effort to adhere to these compliance requirements, many teams are still relying on manual processes that are plagued by inefficiencies and prone to error. Human intervention, while in some cases necessary, is slow, resulting in bottlenecks. Reliance on multiple tools and applications creates a sprawling and disjunct workflow, accompanied by a series of records with little to no traceability and auditability. The bottom line is traditional requirements management can't keep up. Enter Copilot for DevOps. This powerful AI-driven Azure DevOps extension is created specifically for requirements management. Copilot for DevOps injects a robust feature set into Azure DevOps that empower users with features like AI-assisted authoring aligned with standards, automated refinement for audit-ready requirements, template-driven consistency. Copilot for DevOps is the #1 AI assistant native to Azure DevOps. Backed by Azure's OpenAI security policy, users can be confident their data is secure. Early adopters are reporting improvements in efficiencies within their projects, faster authoring, fewer review cycles, and significant reduction in overall project costs. This is because Copilot for DevOps is packed with capabilities that address some of the most inefficient elements of your projects. Copilot for DevOps includes features that aid in requirements elicitation, automated gap analysis, and the creation of AI-driven visualization. Features like these help to eliminate grunt work, so users can focus their time and efforts on compliance and other project-critical tasks. We are excited to showcase the capabilities of Copilot for DevOps and how you can address your regulatory compliance requirements efficiently by leveraging AI. Modern Requirements has a very long-standing relationship with Microsoft. We are Microsoft's go-to requirements partner and the only requirements management solution built natively on Azure DevOps. This relationship opened the door for the immense opportunity to bring the AI experience to Azure DevOps through Copilot for DevOps. Today, Microsoft regards Modern Requirements as a key AI transformation partner. Modern Requirements is now in the pursuit of building new relationships with like-minded organizations who are passionate about improving the requirements management experience when working in highly regulated industries. ReqTech is one of those organizations. Today, we are joined by Lasse Mikkonen, CTO of ReqTech. Lasse specializes in regulatory compliance in DevOps and will be providing insight into how AI is transforming compliance in complex environments. Lasse, let me turn it over to you to tell us a little about yourself and ReqTech.
Thanks and welcome, or thanks for the slot to have a presentation on my behalf as well. I added my face there so you can find me on the LinkedIn looking like that. And then, ReqTech Requirements Technology is a Switzerland-based company where the founder team has decades of knowledge in requirements management for both sides. Let's say on tooling side, which is my specialty, and on top of that also DevOps tooling, and then other guys under Simon and others, they are, let's say, focusing a lot on the regulatory requirement processes and all in all put in place these, let's say, practices in the companies. And let me continue that what we kind of aim for, or what's our mission here, is that we are pushing our customers towards stronger capabilities in achieving the compliancy and in finance, automotive, healthcare, you name it. And then looking at the tool side, why we are here now in the requirements, modern requirements webinar, combining the AI with requirement management, then I can honestly say that the modern requirements is really a bleeding edge tool for putting these features in practice. Then if we take it from the DevOps background, as I pretty much look at the things, so in DevOps there been let's say this mentality and aim for being able to deliver and release whenever. So you automate things, you build up the capabilities so you don't have to do these integration phases in projects and so on. And now finally I think the requirements management can achieve the same. Earlier this has been solved so that we just don't look at the requirement management together with DevOps and development process. It's more like documentation that happens in the end. So we can certainly say that let's aim for always ready for audit capability. And how we can do that? Then let the AI do the heavy lifting of, as we saw, that analyze document, generate content, write proper text, proper requirement sentences, and then monitor and patrol for weak spots, missing links, as we all saw it on the Javeria's presentation. I'm not saying that the humans are irrelevant anymore. It's really that AI should assist the experts. It's like a tool, like any other. And as we saw that in modern requirements, the real features enabling this was quite a big variety. So we have elicit, analysis, convert, you name it. Functionalities built in, and that's exactly what I like in that tool. Okay, another, let's say, the paradigm or the paradigm shift happening in DevOps earlier, which I see is also coming in the requirements management, is this shift left attitude and shift left idea. So, and for requirement management, it really means that we can create good quality, release quality documentation sooner, not only faster, but we start earlier. And if we look at this, let's say, generic shift left idea from DevOps side, that we put attention to quality of documents, quality of software, quality of testing earlier, it means that we kind of don't build up the backlog and we can get things done sooner. That's easy to explain if you think about this test case generation, that we've heard this before, that testing is a compromise. You can't never test anything or everything within the time you have. That's not exactly true anymore, because you can get those AI created very well test cases for trivial use, which you can automate, let's say 80% of the quality of human, but with the 100% coverage. And then experts can really focus on the last mile there. Same happens for the requirement documentation. We don't have to start writing from scratch. We can avoid this blank paper dilemma and go for the last 20% with the people. And on the other hand, it's giving us more power, and the people are freed up to build up this competitive advantage for the customers and the products. And then finally, how we can then think about this, let's say in a lean point of view, that how we can get more with the less effort. We do this continuous readiness that makes less overhead, less unfinished work, less backlog to manage. Of course, the quality and maneuverability are the things that once we don't need to kind of hold back on the releases, we found bugs sooner, we have ready-made documentation available, so it's less misunderstanding, standings and errors. Again, people are freed for the innovation, so it's less non-motivating work for people as well. Finally, I rush forward so we can keep the timeline. So then if you start to think that how to take this tool in use, there was a lot of features, but where to start and how to build that capabilities in regulated R&D, where we definitely need something other structures than just tooling. So when building up and thinking the AI usage, of course, start from the clear AI, let's say the guidelines, how to use it, where to use it, for which purpose to use it, and also how to apply it to compliance guidelines. For example, that who shall do the final reviews should be people, human in control. Then configuring the tool, like we saw that you can fine tune the prompts and do the configs there. So that's definitely the next step, that you tune up the tool for the company needs. Then you prepare the data, think about this AI reviews and the whole process, how they can help, how they can kind of not leading us to the wrong track. And then finally train people and about this new tooling and way of working, and then monitor results and improve. So that's basically my take on this topic. So, and I kind of want to again highlight the modern requirements with their AI features is really leading edge solution for applying the AI in requirements management.
Now, I work as a client success consultant here at Modern Requirement. Thank you for joining today's webinar, Requirements Management in Industries Where Compliance is Key. Now, if you're working in highly regulated sectors like banking or financial institutions, as well as healthcare, whatever your role may be, whether you are working as a business analyst, a quality assurance analyst, a project manager responsible to manage the entire application lifecycle, or somebody in compliance, you know how much time is spent managing requirements. So, from the process of writing them, refining them, eventually tracing them, and when something gets missed, reworking on them. The tool is built to take that manual grind out of that process. Now, one of the best part, it's natively integrated right alongside Azure DevOps, which many of you folks are already using. So you are not learning a whole new system, you are just enhancing what you already do. So with that, let's see how this works in action. So the Copilot for DevOps is natively integrating into the Boards tab of Azure DevOps, can be leveraged from the backlogs and queries module, and the tool itself can be invoked at a work item level. So in this case, I'm going to be invoking the Copilot at this epic level. Now with the Copilot for DevOps tool, you can turn your meeting notes, your emails, straight into work items using our chat as well as Elicit feature. Once the requirements has been created, you can check the quality of your requirements using proven frameworks like 6Cs or SWOT instantly. You also have the ability to generate supporting assets like diagramming, mockup, SOPs for your project, as well as you can generate pseudocode and test scripts, which will help your developers to be up and running in no time, all with just a few clicks. And most importantly, for regulated spaces, it helps tracks if requirements are adhering to standards. And finally, it will help you identify impact of those changes. Now with the Elicit feature, from these overarching requirements, the Copilot for DevOps can help you generate multiple artifacts. user stories for developers, test cases for your quality assurance analyst, and even use cases for documentation as well as your regulatory submissions. Now, from this epic, let's create some features. Just with one click of a button, the system is going to give me suggestions for the features that can be built for real-time alert dashboard for risk scoring. As I'm selecting these suggestions, the system is also generating me details. I can even generate a more comprehensive list by clicking on See More. Now, once the details are being generated, you can edit it using our Magic Edit function, which allows you to make manual edits as well as AI suggested edits. Once you decide to apply those changes, you just have to click on Apply, and the system is going to rewrite you your description or your title. Let's apply the changes for the description. And once we save and close, it will show you the most up-to-date version of that work item. Now, as we are creating them, you will see it will prompt you for a link type. Either it could be a parent-child link type, or you can select any links that are supported within Azure DevOps. And here you go. The work item IDs are assigned to these suggestions. You can further drill down, be able to create user stories that you can share with your developers. You can also decide what output fields you want the system to generate for you. In this case, I'll go with description and acceptance criteria. And based on my work item selection, these are some of the suggestions for the user story work item. I'll go with a few of them. Eventually, you can select all of them if required. Now, on the right-hand side, the system is giving me my description along with acceptance criteria. Now, right now, if you would like to make customization on how this output has been generated, maybe you would like to generate your acceptance criteria in Gherkin format, we have given you the custom instruction panel that is available for all the different categories of Copilot for DevOps. And here you can give your instructions on how you would like these artifacts to be generated or created. You can also reference a text block. This is a usable structure or guide where you can define how you would like these output to be created and reference them within the custom instruction panel. Now let's create these user story as well. And finally, for the testers who would like to validate these requirements, they can create test cases by selecting it from the drop-down list. And the system is going to start giving you suggestions for the test case work item. Let's select a few of them. Now, as these suggestions are being given by the system, they will always be unique. So if you have any additional links that were created earlier, it will always take a look at the entire context of the work item and it will provide you with unique suggestions. Now we'll turn this into work items. And on the top, you can see the forward traceability is automatically maintained. All the work items that we just created are linked to the original requirement. Now, many of you may say that you would like to add more context to these work items. So while generating features, you would like the system to not only look to the title or description, but also some additional artifacts. So in this case, you can set up elicitation, upload your attachments, whether they're a PDF file, your Word documents, as well as your images. And that will be taken into consideration while eliciting requirements. Additionally, if you'd like to start from scratch, you can give a context and start building out your requirements from the epic level all the way down to your test cases. So that's our Elicit tool that really supercharges the way you create your requirements. Now, if you're using ChatGPT and you are more comfortable in using a natural language to build out these work items, so we have incorporated a chat feature in our Copilot for DevOps. This chat feature allows you to interact directly with the system, and you can give in commands. This could be questions that you may ask with the system. You can create your work items and their queries, as well as update the work items, like updating any particular field for the work items that you created earlier. In this case, let's start by building new work items. And let's give it a prompt. So we are creating an epic for implementing secure biometric failure handling in digital banking. I'll fix this really quickly. Now on the bottom here, you can see you have a variety of different options that you can leverage. You can upload your documents, your emails, your meeting notes, as well as you also have the ability to rewrite prompts using Copilot for DevOps. The system is going to make your prompt more comprehensive. And once done, you can hit on enter. The system will start analyzing your given input and will act appropriately. So here, as the system is analyzing it, on the right-hand side, or rather left-hand side, you can see all these previous chats that took in place. And you can always take a look at what was created during that conversation. And here we have it. A work item was created. And now you can see within the work item itself, the system has added a comprehensive description for this topic. Now, furthermore, you can start building out your features for this epic here just by giving some prompts. Let's identify what features can be created. So the chat feature is not really limited to creation of the work items or updating of the work item. You can do a variety of different things like report on work items, analyze their quality, or even run a gap analysis. And the chat feature is really empowering the user to engage directly with the system using natural language. So I'm really curious to know your feedback on the features that we have seen so far. Also make sure to add questions in the chat and we can answer them in our Q&A session. So here we have a bunch of features identified by the system, and you can start creating them as work items just by giving simple prompts. So that's our chat feature. And as we have created certain requirements using the elicit feature as well as the chat feature, if you'd like to assess the quality of the requirements that you've just built out, The analyze feature uses the 6 Cs and SWOT frameworks to automatically evaluate requirements quality. These are some of the analysis methods that we have currently added to our system. I'll go with 6 Cs, and the system will start analyzing my work item, and it will give me an overall quality score for my work item. So right now, the system is stating that my requirement is 88% there. And on the top here, you will find that for all the quality criterias, it has given a rating along with the reason for that rating. And the system is also suggesting you some improvements. So if you'd like to make additional modifications based on these suggestions, you can improve your requirements up to 90 or 95%. Now that we have our requirements analyzed based on these analysis method, you also have the ability to generate additional supporting artifacts. So for visual clarity, the Copilot for DevOps can generate diagrams in one of the many formats. So you can go with a sequence diagram, an ER diagram, and even a journey diagram for your requirements. In this case, I'll go with a sequence diagram. Now here, you can build out your requirements diagram by selecting the work item, or even you can just give a prompt and the system is going to generate your diagram based on that prompt. So in this case, I'm going to give a prompt, and let's create a diagram for a business process flow for a know your customer process. Here we have given our prompt. Let's hit on generate. The system will start analyzing my work item and it's or my given prompt in this case, and it will help me create a beautiful diagram. I'll just give a quick refresh to my screen. And let's invoke the Copilot again. Now let's build a diagram using this work item instead. Once the tool will analyze starting your requirement, it will create your diagram based on your selected stencil, which in this case was a sequence diagram. And here we have it. This is the sequence diagram generated based on the selected work item. Now, once this diagram is rendered, you can publish it back into the work item. This could be either an existing work item or you can create a brand new work item right here. Additionally, you can save this diagram in many formats. You can save it as a Word file, a PDF, or even as an image. So let's publish this into the existing work item. And while doing so, the system will also add a diagram markdown, which can be reusable. Let's open this work item here. And here we have the diagram being published into the work item. Now, one thing you will notice, any artifact that will be created using Copilot for DevOps, it will always be tagged. So you can see a tag being added right here. indicating this work item was created and updated using Copilot for DevOps. So a great tool because we already know that a picture speaks 1,000 words, and this is where our diagramming tool will come into play. Now, as you're building your requirements, you may want to see how this is going to look like or be utilized from a user's perspective. So the mockup category is going to help you generate wireframes based on your requirements. This could be based on a work item selection, or you can give any prompt and be able to create mockups in one of the many themes. So what I'm going to do here is let's select a user and story instead. By the way, folks, you can change the work item context simply by going into the mockup tool, removing it from here, and adding more work items using the select work item option. So let's generate a mockup using Copilot for DevOps theme. The system will start analyzing my data. It will identify how many mockups will suffice my need, and then it will create that within the mockup category. So it's stating that 4 mockup needs to be created. We'll give it a minute to load. And here we have it. In just a few seconds, the system has generated me these 4 mockups. You can click on these buttons. It's actionable. And here you can see for all these different mockups, they are resonating or related to this work item that I have selected. Now, once this is rendered, you can publish it back into the work item. This could be an existing work item, or you can create a brand new work item. The benefit of creating these mockup within Azure DevOps, you will always have a traceability maintained, as well as when you are saving it or publishing it back to the work item, it will save you a CSS HTML file, which can be utilized by your UI UX developers. So in this case, let's publish it back to the existing work item. Or we can go with a new work item. You can select the work item type that you would like to build, in which field you would like to publish this data. And here you go, a brand new work item has been created with the image of the dashboard being added. And in the attachment file, you can see the HTML file being embedded. So this tool really helps get early feedback from businesses as well as from stakeholders before the actual code is written. So that is our mockup tool. Now, all these functionalities that we have seen so far requires minimum prompt engineering. With just one click of a button, you are able to create requirements, assess them using several criteria, as well as you are able to generate your diagramming or your visualization using the diagram on mockup tool. Now, if you'd like to need something custom, like doing a gap analysis on your requirements or a test case coverage analysis, use our dynamic prompt tool. This is very powerful for your business analyst, your project managers, as well as compliance leads. This tool allows you to set your context. It could be your selected work items or your query of work items. So any queries that you might have been building within the queries module, you can select that from this drop-down list. And then you can give a list of instructions. In this case, let's say for the work items that I have here in my active work items, I would like to get a list of requirements without any associated test cases. So let's add a prompt here. I'll just fix this really quickly. And let's run the prompt. Just by giving simple instruction, the system is now generating me a result. It will identify which user stories that is part of that query are missing test cases scenario. So here we have a report. It's identifying these are some of the active work items that are missing or they don't have any test cases associated to them. Alternately, you can run a prompt and display the result in a report format, in a table format, as well as a list format. The beauty of writing these prompts into a dynamic prompt is you can always save them for later use. Now, in this scenario, I'll also show you another use case that is most frequently used when we talk about highly regulated sectors. Gap analysis. You may want to see the requirements that you are writing. They are adhering to specific standards. In this case, what I have asked the system to do for me is to see if these requirements are meeting the elements of ISO 27001. But this could be any standard that you would like to assess your requirements on. I have asked the system to give me a rating out of 10, identify reasons for non-compliance, ways I can improve it, and not only that, I also want the system to identify the sections that were not met. I have also provided how I would like my data or my results to be generated. In this case, I would like the system to generate me a table result. Let's hit on generate. The system will identify or analyze my requirements. It will give it a rating out of 10, the reasons for non-compliance to ISO 27001, ways I can improve it, and the section of the ISO standard that were not met. And here we go. These are all my requirements that were part of the query. These are the system has given it a rating out of 10. Ways I can improve it, the sections of the ISO standard that were not met. So imagine if you're doing this exercise manually, it requires immense amount of effort to map those individual requirements to the different sections of the ISO standard. But here, with just a few clicks and with just few seconds, I was able to do so. So this is eliminating a lot of grunt work or additional effort from my end. And the use cases with our dynamic prompts are pretty wide. This is a few use cases we have um, showcased in today's demonstration, but you can do a lot with our dynamic prompt feature as well as with our chat feature. Now, lastly, when we are talking about implementations of any changes, especially in regulated environments, we need to know what else might break. And this is where our impact assessment will come into play. And let's bring in a top level work item. I will bring in my Epic for risk scoring. Let's bring that. Now, for this risk scoring, there could be additional change requests that were provided by your stakeholders. You can provide a prompt for your analysis to be performed on, as well as you can provide a work item change, and the system can perform that assessment based on that work item change. What I'm going to do here is let's implement predictive analytics in our work item. Now, with simple explanation, I can perform the analysis on my work item. The system is going to analyze not only my top level work item, but it will also analyze any link work item. So this is identifying impacts downstream or upstream of that work item. So here the system is stating that it's really going to be highly impacted. You will also notice an impact explanation will be provided along with additional tasks that needs to be created for this work item. Similarly, you can analyze the link levels just by clicking on this button. And the system is going to traverse through that entire list of linked features and user stories. And if there would be test cases that are attached to it, the system is going to analyze impact on those work items as well. Now you can traverse all the different levels. And once done, this is going to help you generate impact reports for your projects or for your work items change. And for all these levels, you can see it's giving the appropriate task that needs to be created to handle the impact, as oftentimes when change requests are coming your way, the additional efforts that are required, they are lost in translation. But here you can provide this report to your stakeholders in either a Word format or as a PDF file. We'll save it into a PDF file, which will entail all the different impacts that were analyzed and the additional tasks that needs to be created for handling those impacts. Now, this brings us to the end of our demonstration today. I'm really excited to get your feedback on the functionality that we have showcased in today's webinar.